So let me turn to Hannah and Andy, who both have taken on significant cases. Maybe I'll start with Hannah since she just completed a trial, I believe, in a case. Maybe you could say something about the case you worked on and what you found most rewarding in that process.
Yeah, I believe that something that's really important about pro se representation is giving an opportunity to people who, as Judge Ryu mentioned, are unfamiliar with the legal process. And while they are often very, very intelligent, probably could have done better than me in law school, I mean, just aren't familiar with the legal procedures and factual record that they need to build in order to be able to bring their case to court. Um, and who still, deserve to have an opportunity to be heard. And this legal system is built on all these meritorious principles about how everyone knew, the justice system and have, be heard equally. And unfortunately, it seems often that that's just not the case. And so what I love about working on pro bono cases is that I can actually, you know, actually represent somebody who's not some massive corporation, in maybe a very, contested contractual dispute or patent dispute, and really connect with my community and help them with an issue that is really going to impact their day-to-day life here. And I live in San Francisco. And so what I loved about my case, which was a full scope case, so we took it through all fact discovery, through expert discovery and dispositive briefing to trial, is that I got to really connect with my client, and really understand, how this case was going to potentially change his life. Um, and he was able to, go to court and testify and have his day. And I hope that it brought a lot of closure to him and was able to make him feel like he was heard and that a jury of his peers listened to his story. Um, and so that was the most rewarding thing, is really being able to feel connected, I think, to your district and to your community.
You want to say something about the case that you did and what your experience was like? Because you went to trial, right?
Yeah, yeah. Substantive wise, it's a phenomenal experience. So I had a Fair Housing Act case, and it involved two claims under the Fair Housing Act. We had two supervising partners, um, but we staffed it primarily with me and another associate, Ramsey Fisher. And at the time that we took the case on, I was a fifth year, and Ramsey was a third year. I mean, Ramsey and I both had some trial experience already. And so we were quite familiar actually with all of the requirements that you need and all of the work that you need to do. And so the partners trusted us to really kind of handle the case. And so frankly, Ramsey and I, we did all of the depositions, both fact and expert. We took the first stab at all of the dispositive briefing. And when we ultimately went to trial, we brought on another associate who by then I was seventh year. Ramsey was a fifth year, and this last associate was a fourth year. And the fourth year did voir dire, jury selection. Ramsey did the opening, and I did the closing. And it was really great that the client trusted us to take on that case for him. I think that a lot of it was he saw, how we handled the case going through it. And so ultimately, when we came to trial, he was comfortable with us having that speaking role. But we took all the witnesses. And so even though there was always a partner who was observing and like giving us feedback, or making sure that we didn't miss anything, we basically ran the case as associates.
It is pretty rare for a fourth year associate at any firm to voir dire a federal jury.
Well, she was a very special fourth year, so we had high confidence in her. But yes, it is. I would say it's quite rare for any junior associate or mid level to be able to do a voir dire. Yeah.
Right, right. Well, thank you.